The recording has started, so welcome everyone to the MozFest Open Project Training. So my name is Abby, and I'm going to share my screen so we can see the Etherpad for a bit. This one. But yeah, as you come into the call, just put your name in the top right-hand corner. Jeroen, if you can hear or see us, you may have to change your name there, and then sign your name under the roll call. Just so I have an idea of who's joining us today and who we're going to have a conversation with, let's just all go through the roll call and we'll all introduce ourselves and give a little short introduction. So my name's Abby. I'm lead developer of open source engagement for the Mozilla Foundation. So I'm working with open source projects around Mofo, just trying to get them ready for contributors and bring in more, have more engagement around them. And I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and I'm super excited for MozFest. Janet, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name's Janet Chapman from London, and my project is called Crowd to Map, and it's about community mapping of the area of Tanzania where girls are most at risk of female genital mutilation. So it's getting people online to map from satellite images, but also people on the ground, including the girls themselves, to map the villages where they're from.
That's amazing. Yeah, so it's like crowdsourcing maps.
Yeah.
So it's like social justice. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Janet. Oh, hey, Xana just joined. I'm going to mute you for a sec, Xana. Joe, can you introduce yourself? Joao, sorry.
Yes, sure. My name is João. I'm from Brazil. I'm a medical studying in the field of modeling, especially in agriculture, and my project is about a device that can collect information about the environment and use this in a crop model and say to people how much food they will going to produce. And it's based on this concept of using classical models like the FAO model and using this to improve the people's productions like small kitchen gardens and things like this.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a great open source project. Yeah, and I'm excited to see you at MozFest.
Thank you.
Also, I think I saw your friend join video, but then he left again, maybe?
Yes, he is coming again.
Okay, so we'll wait, but there's two of you on the same project, so it's good to know.
Sure.
Thanks. Jeroen, can you hear us? We were having some video problems earlier. Okay, maybe not. But while we're here, Xana, do you want to give like a quick introduction on who you are?
Sure. I am Xana Marsh. I'm a learning strategist for Mozilla and the Mozilla Science Lab. And I helped to write some of the materials that you'll be using in this experience. So if you have thoughts or ideas about any of the materials or questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Awesome. Thanks, Xana. And just so everyone knows, this is being recorded. I know a few people couldn't make it, so, oh, you can see in here, but apparently not here. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jeroen. You can add any comments or questions you have in the chat, and we'll get back to you. So to get started, there are a few important links I just put here under line 39. First is the guide that we're actually walking through to do this training. The next part are a bunch of templates that I made for you. And the third one's actually a chat room. I didn't open that. I'll open it now. Where if you have any questions after this call, or anytime even after MozFest, you can ask anyone here. Right now it's me and Min, but other people will join, and you can ask each other questions, and it'll be lovely. But a quick introduction. Who is this for? So this training is for any MozFest facilitator that's running an open project at MozFest. We really want to help you get your projects in an environment that makes it easy for new contributors to come along. So you'll get a bunch of people at your session, and you want to make it as easy as possible for them to actually contribute to what you're doing and help you out. And then we want to help you sustain that afterwards. so keep your community growing. So what will you learn? Before MozFest, we had this meeting. We'll go over just an overview of everything. And you'll go through a bunch of exercise getting your project ready for contributors, so that you're ready when MozFest comes. And we'll also get you featured on Network Pulse. So if you finish all of these, there'll be a Network Pulse, which will be, there's going to be like a big screen somewhere at MozFest where it's going to be showing all these projects and encouraging people to go and contribute to these or go to those sessions for those projects. So I think that would be great, yeah, great advertising for you, but it's also a good collection of like good projects that are ready for contributors. So during MozFest, we'll have some live in-person help on Working Open if you have any questions, like right as your session's happening or right before it. Then after MozFest, we're going to send you more exercises on actually sustaining the momentum, because at MozFest you'll get so many people and you want to keep them engaged and you want to keep working with them. So we'll give you resources on how to do that. So any questions or comments so far? Oh, I think I muted you all. I'm sorry. There you go. There you go. But yeah, any questions or comments?
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm going to mute you all again because there's a little bit of echo. Thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it here in the Etherpad. And if anyone's watching the recording and has questions, feel free to let me know. So first section we're going to do is what is Working Open? So here's a definition. Working Open is a way in which a community of people collaborate to make or build something amazing. And any product or knowledge that the community of collaborators creates is shared widely and freely with the public on the World Wide Web. So hearing about the projects you, like the people in this call have been running, I think that, yeah, that applies. You have a group of people working on building these really amazing tools, and you're sharing it with everyone, and you're going to share it at MozFest. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, oh yeah, I put a silent ether padding section here. We're going to reflect a bit on the benefits, challenges, and limitations of Working Open might mean for your project. So as I'm talking, feel free to just write things under the benefits of Working Open on your project, and maybe some challenges that you have run into already on your project or you think that you might run into. So for me, I think a big thing, a big benefit to Working Open is having a diverse community working on problems. When you have a very homogeneous community making something for the world, it doesn't always work out well. So by having people from different experiences and different viewpoints work on something, it's better, I think. So I'm going to add more eyes, more diversity. Oh, hey, welcome. It works for Jaron. Hello. We can see you. Can you hear us? Okay. Thanks, Jaron. I'm going to mute you for a second, but we're on line 65 right now. So if you have any benefits of Working Open or challenges and limitations of Working Open, we're just doing a little silent ether padding. Actually, I'm talking at the same time, but feel free to add your responses there. Thanks. Another common phrase is more eyes make shallow bugs. So the idea that the more people are looking at your project, the faster bugs get solved. Get specialist insight. Yeah, that's great. I think that's, yeah, thank you, Jaron. And yeah, range of skills. There's a quote. Yeah, there's a quote from Gunnar, Alan Gunn, who's spoken at MozFest before. He says, I believe in the many eyes principle, but I also believe in many hearts and many souls principle. Having many personalities, values, and experience sets involved in creating something intrinsically makes the finished product more robust and broadly relevant, versus, say, 3 privileged white guys in Silicon Valley kicking something out. So I think that's really relevant today. And open source really helps you get that broad audience. So now, yeah, divides workload. Yes, more goodwill. Yeah, I think that's true. You do get a lot of goodwill by working openly. So some challenges and limitations of working open. Oh, exposure too, it's a good one. Something there is the whole community management aspect. Sometimes it's hard to motivate and sustain engagement. Zoom in a bit. Motivate others and sustain engagement. Simply more work. I think definitely in the project management side, it is a lot of work organizing people. And it can be overwhelming if your project is suddenly super popular and everyone wants to, is sending you bugs. People expect quick reactions and support. Yeah. Cool. Any other challenges and limitations of working open from the rest of the group? Something that I found people think that open source does, but it really doesn't, is they see open source as getting free work done on their project. By putting this on GitHub, they think other people will just do work for them. And yeah, you know, you have to have that balance. Like, they need to be getting stuff out of it too. It's not about just getting free work done. Trying to be inclusive is hard. Yes, it's very true. We're going to talk about some ways that we think are best practices to do that. So this will be a helpful session. Some people making mistakes and adding poor data. Yeah, it can be hard to quality control things. Oh yeah, because yeah, that's from Janet. So you're running that like crowdsourced reporting thing. So that makes a lot of sense. I haven't thought too much about that actually. Maintaining project structure. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, and yes, involving people in decision making is very difficult because that's the whole point of working open, is that that the crowd can help you build this project and help you form what you're going to make. But yeah, involving people, like what level will this be at? When will they make decisions? What are they in charge of? That's a great question, and I think it's different for lots of different projects. Cool. So if you have any other questions or comments or insights on this, feel free to add it to Etherpad. This will be up afterwards, so people who are watching the recording, you can add your own too. I think that would be interesting. And now we're going to do a quick intro to GitHub. I know it seems a bit of a jump, but I think GitHub's one of the tools that we use to enable working open. GitHub has a lot of tools that help you do a lot of these things, like motivate the community, communicate with the community, and yeah, it helps enable some of these things. And that is where a lot of open source is now. So you are where people already are. So it's easier for people to find, and they understand how to contribute. So why GitHub? Yeah, because it's a good tool for helping us work openly. So I'm going to give you a quick overview to GitHub. A quick temperature check to people here in the call. Can you add in the chat if you have you used GitHub before? Just say like yes or no in the chat so I can just get an idea. Yay. Yes. Yes, limited experience, not really. Okay. So yeah, and this is the platform we'll be using at MozFest. Oh, you have an account. Yes, that's good. Oh, yes, I didn't put that as homework before coming to this call, but you really need an account before you start this. So if you're watching this recording, you don't have an account, pause this, make a GitHub account, come back. Cool. So I'm going to go through a GitHub repository. This is the template repository that I made for you guys. Here at the top, you have the repository owner. This is my username. So if I click here, I'd be able to see all of my repositories. And then the repository name we're in now. So it's MozFest repo template. So underneath that, we're in the code tab, and you have a short description where you can put your project description. I literally said you put your project description here. Underneath you, it's just a set of files that you're all working on. So this could be the data that you're collaborating on, or even just documentation around your project. So right now, this is just the documentation, but I have all the files, and there also would be folders here if we had any, along with a little bit of a note from the last time I changed that file, and when I changed it, so you get a bit of freshness there. And GitHub does something nice, so right underneath the files, it actually prints out what's in your readme.md. So I made this a template, so it just says project with brackets, but this is a good place to sort of introduce someone to your project because GitHub automatically pulls it out for you. So now back at the top, what's really interesting is that GitHub's built on Git, which is a version control tool. So Git collects all the changes you made into commits. So if I see here it says 38 commits, that means there's 38 times I've saved the changes I've made. So I can go back in time. So I made 4 commits today. And if I click on it, I can see the change that I put in that commit. So I added this one line about if it's your first time contributing open source, check out this tutorial. And I can just keep going back in time, going through those commits. That's really interesting part of version control in GitHub. And it's also a little freeing, knowing that whatever change you make, there's still a commit history. You can always revert it and go back in time. You haven't ruined everything, so it's okay. The next tab we have is issues, which is where people either report bugs that they found, ask for features, or even just ask questions that they want the community to think about. There's only one issue in here so far, and it's an example of a good first bug. And basically, if there's something that I think, a new person could do, this maybe wasn't the best example for this, I'd make a good first bug. So if it's something like, oh, there's a typo in my README, or oh, I need to add that link to that tutorial, I'd make an issue saying, like, please add that link, and then I can add a label to it. So labels are just different ways of sorting through your issues. So some issues might be enhancements, some might be questions you ask, some might be bugs, and this one's a good first bug. And I can comment on this because it's a discussion, so GitHub really helps with the whole organizing community bit. So I'll just say, this is a great first bug. And GitHub uses Markdown, so I did the, so that'll be in italics. I can go to the preview and I can see it. And my favorite part is that it also supports emojis. So if I press colon, I'm going to look for bug. Yeah, well, I want the beetle. That's a good one. There, yay. Then I hit comment. And now we've started a conversation here. So this, we could pretend this was about a more serious topic of actually adding a task. Yes. Issues are great for discussion. The next tab we have, and the last one I'll go through in this little overview, is pull requests. And a pull request is basically an issue. So I have an issue called Who Needs a Template When You Have Abby's Awesome Project? And I say something that I changed. So the difference with a pull request and issue is that there's a commit attached to this. And there's some changes attached to this. So I can click on Files Changed. And in this pull request, I'm requesting that the project owner pulls in this change that I made, which was deleting the template project name and adding my project name, Abby's Awesome Project. Now, I don't want to make that change because this is a template. It shouldn't have an actual project name in it. So I'm just going to say, I don't want this change. Actually, you probably wouldn't say that to a contributor. I'm going to say something nicer. Thanks for this pull request. However, we want to keep this as a template. And then I'll just say close and comment. So now this pull request is closed. I don't have to do anything with it. But if I hit merge instead, that change would have showed up here in my code. So GitHub has a lot of this tooling around helping people collaborate on files, which is really important in open source and working openly. So that was a super fast overview of GitHub. Any questions or comments? I'll unmute you all for a second. Okay, I unmuted everyone. How does everyone feel about GitHub?
I use it every day in my work, so it's okay.
Okay, so you knew all that already. Thank you. What do you find useful about GitHub?
I think everything it's easy to maintain and manage the project with my team, and I use GitHub and Bitbucket. I use
Oh,
both
nice.
platforms.
Yeah, I used to use Bitbucket. Yeah, Bitbucket's also pretty good.
Yes.
Cool, thanks. So if anyone has any questions about GitHub, feel free to throw them here, or say something in the chat if you want me to unmute you. I think you can also unmute yourself, so do that. Cool, but now we're going to get started on the actual assignments now. So this was the guide that I made. So MozFest Open Projects, and we have some instructions here on how you get started with the training. So first is opening an issue in this repository to get started on the exercise. So I'll click on that link, and you can all do this along with me. So actually go to, I'll put this in the chat. Oh, this is the wrong Etherpad. There. Okay, so there's the repository there in the chat. So you should all be over here. And then you go over to the Issues tab and click on New Issue. And then you put the name of your project. So I'm going to say my awesome project. And then don't edit anything here inside the issue. Then just hit Submit New Issue. So now I have my awesome project, and you should be at a page similar to this. So you put your own project name there. And it says, welcome to Open Project Training. And it gives you this checklist of things to do to finish the training. So that's how you get started. So we talked a little bit about working open, but there's an actual module you can read here. So you should read that before you check it off. And now the next part is getting a GitHub repository for your project. If you already have a GitHub repository, then you're good to go. So you can just check this one off. But if you don't, you can click on these to get step-by-step instructions for using the templates. So I'm guessing probably Janet, you'll need to make a GitHub repository. I don't know if anyone else will. But I'm going to also walk through how to use the templates as your own repository. So I'll do that quickly now. So using the templates, I'll just go right to the templates. I won't follow the instructions. I'll just show them to you. So here we are at the template that I walked you through earlier. I'm going to hit fork. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong account. Okay, I'm going to open a new tab and log in and then share this new tab. Oh, I feel unprepared. Okay, I'll share this one. Great. Okay, so now I'm Karaoke Abby. I have like 3 GitHub accounts. So this is my fake GitHub account, Karaoke Abby. So go back. I'm going to hit fork in the top right-hand corner. And oh, it forks right away. So now I have my own, so you can see it's here in my fake GitHub account called Kabunak. And what I'm going to do is go to Settings, and I'll change the name to my awesome project. Rename. Yay, my awesome project. And I'm also going to go back to Settings. I'm just going to turn on Issues, because that's automatically off for forks. But I like issues. Cool. So then I can edit my description to my own description. This is Karaoke Abby's awesome project. Save. And I can start editing these files so that, I can fill in the template for my actual project. So if I click on README, oh no, I kept clicking. And then you can click on the tiny edit icon. It's a little pencil in the top right hand of the file box. I'll click that. And I'll see the markdown here in Edit File. and I can change that to my awesome project. Not very creative today, but if I hit preview changes, I can see that I deleted the template title and I put in my own project name. And then, yeah, I'll save that. Actually, I'll go down. So to save this change as commit, I can say added my own awesome title. And I'll commit that directly to the master branch. Yay! And then you can keep going through and editing, editing those. I'm just going to go back. I have so many different windows I'm sharing. Actually, I'll move that over to this window. Okay. Here we are. So if I go back to my checklist, I'll just comment and say my repo is here. Comment. Oh, that's not my repo. Copied the wrong thing. My repo is here. Yes. Oh, that's the README. That's okay. My repo is here. And I'm going to add the 100 sign because I like it. I'll comment. And now I can check off GitHub repository. Check it off. Oh, it's because I'm not this user. Right. I can check it off in the other screen. You should be able to check off your own. Don't worry. I'll share my other screen again. Yes, here we are. So now I can check it off. Yay. And there's only 9 more checkboxes to go. So I'll give you an overview as to why we think these files are important. And then when you're done all of those files, you can post on Network Pulse. There's instructions, and then I will actually look at your issue that you created to make sure, like in all the links that you share, to make sure it was actually done. And then you can be on Network Pulse, and you'll see your project at the festival on a big screen. It'll be exciting. So to go through the files, I'll go through the template, actually. Oh yeah, before I keep going, I'll go back to any questions right now? I went through quite a bit on like getting started with your issue and forking that repo. Yeah, is everyone okay? Actually, Janet, I'm interested to hear. Oh, echoey with Janet. Janet, how is that for you?
Yes, that was okay. I mean, I need to go away and do it. But what's the deadline?
Anytime before MozFest, really. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have some time. Each exercise shouldn't take you too long, especially since we already have the templates there, so you can just fill in your specific information. But yeah. Cool. But were you able to follow okay?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
Okay, thanks, Janet. Great. So now I'm going to talk about each of the files. So the first file we need is the README, which is really your introduction to the project. So you have your project name at the top, and then we also ask you to put your project vision or mission statement right underneath the title. So one of the exercises in that guide that we looked at is writing your project vision. And yeah, Xana made this. She did a great job. But it really walks you through how to write a short statement that explains like what you're doing, who you're working with, who you're doing it for, and why you're doing this. And you can tweak the format a bit, so you don't have to always start with I'm working with, but that's usually pretty helpful. And it'll help you just come up with something clear and concise. The next part of your project description, oh yeah, it's adding an image or a logo, just because something visually interesting is usually helpful in a README. And your longer description goes underneath that. So here's an exercise in open project communication. And it actually walks you through clearly communicating your project. So there's a tool we have here called an open canvas. So this is remixed from, it's a little small here, but you can click and go through this on your own. It's remixed from Lean Canvas, which is used by business startups as kind of a one-page startup plan and how they're going to run their business. So we remixed that, took away parts that didn't make sense for an open source project, and added a few like contributors and users. So this way you can sort of write down, when you're working on a project, all of this is in your head. So this way it forces you to write it down in a clear and concise manner because you have only a tiny square to fit it in. But it makes you think about the problem you're trying to solve, what your solution is, how do you know when you're going to succeed. But then also, what do you need to build your project? Do you need a certain set of experts? Do you need some tools? And to help you with project execution, it's right beside the contributor profiles. So you can make sure that whatever you need, you're also getting contributors that do the same thing. So that way you can actually build what you want. So yeah, this is helpful for sort of understanding your whole project, and it'll help you write down a good description if you can answer all these questions. And later, we link to contributing file. So I'll open that file now. But a contributing file really just helps people understand how they can give back to your project or how they can add to your project. So yeah, we have contributing to your project. We start with a little bit of cheer, saying thanks for your interest. Restate your project vision. Yeah, redundancy is your friend. Someone might land directly on this page and not know what your project is, so having that short sentence explaining what you do is really helpful. And then add some info on like what this document is and why people should read these guidelines. So in the template I say, this document, oh, that's a typo. Someone can fix that. That would be a good first bug. This document is a set of guidelines for contributing to this project on GitHub. These are guidelines, not rules, and this guide is meant to make it easy for you to contribute or to get involved. And we have things like participation guidelines, what we're working on, how to submit changes, and this is just a simple GitHub workflow that I put here. How to report bugs. This one's just saying go to the issue tracker, and any communication channels you have so people know how to reach you. And even though at MozFest you'll be seeing these people face-to-face, afterwards when they leave, it'll be really helpful if they have this place to go and they can know how they can keep on contributing and how they can keep adding to your project. So I skimmed over a couple sections there. One was participation guidelines. So we added a code of conduct to the template. And this actually just uses the MozFest participation guidelines below, which, especially since your project is at MozFest, the whole festival, complies to this. So it walks through how to treat each other, inclusion, diversity, how to raise issues, and a little bit about working open and what that is. But you're free to write your own code of conduct, so I linked to an exercise you can use if you want to go through that. And it's actually a really helpful exercise to think about like what kind of behavior you want to encourage in your community. So that's great. So the other section I skimmed over a bit was what we're working on. So I say this is a good place to link to your roadmap, GitHub milestones, or projects so newcomers can see what you're working on. Yeah, a lot of times you come to a project and you don't know where they need help. So being able to map out what your project is doing, even like before MozFest, we're going to do all these things, and then the next bit after MozFest, we're going to do a few more things. Being able to map that out is really helpful. So in this repo, I have a current milestone. Yeah, here it is. I called it MozFest, and description tasks we need to complete before MozFest. We're working on this right now, and there's only the one bug inside it. This is an example first bug. But just having a few milestones and tasks associated with that is really helpful for when people want to know what they can work on. So there's a road mapping exercise you can take a look at, which walks you through, there's quite a bit of intro. But it walks you through, so again, you restate the mission and summary if you really, if it's a whole new document. But it does walk you through picking milestones. If it's a project status goal, reaching the MVP, things you need done then, dates or events like MozFest. Or if you don't really know anything that you want to milestone this against, short, medium, and long term also works. And then listing tasks. So then just creating an issue for each task and adding that to the milestone. So I think that's all of the files Oh, the one I didn't cover was license. So for this to actually be open source, it needs to have an open source license. In this one, I put CC BY 4.0 because it is just documentation, it's just written works. If you have code, then you might want to pick a different license. But basically, you can just go to chooselicense.com and then copy the whole license into this file. GitHub actually does a pretty good job if I click on edit this file. Oops, let's go up. They say, do you want to use a template? And then I can just pick one of these licenses. And then GitHub puts it in here. And here, let's see. Yeah, I don't have to change it. So there, I put it in, added my name here. I can change that too. And contributors or something. So that's useful. I'm going to cancel this because I don't want the MIT license on this. But GitHub makes it pretty easy to choose a license nowadays. And what I like that's pretty new, they put the license up here on the little header inside your repo. So it's pretty easy for you to see what license each repository has now, which is fun. So yeah, those are all the files we require from you. Let's go back to the checklist. So yeah, there's the README, the project vision, open canvas, linking to the code of conduct or participation guidelines, having a license, having contributing.md, and then breaking down tasks into issues and milestones. And it links to all those exercises here, so you can just keep following that and go down. Then once you're done that, you can post it to Network Pulse. So I'll show you what Network Pulse looks like now. It's loading it. So here are some featured things that have been posted here. Some of these are articles, some of these are interviews. Oh yeah, CodeMoji is kind of fun. But for each of these things, you can read more. And there's a link for getting involved. You can go visit it. Let's see, latest. A rad contribution to Thimble. Oh, cool. Let's visit this. I haven't actually looked at this yet. I hope it's fun. Oh, someone made, oh, hey, I really like this pull request. This guy made a pull request to Thimble, which is one of Mozilla's projects. But I thought it was the greatest pull request ever because he's like, hi, Mozillians, and he has emojis. And then he had these helpful diagrams saying like, oh, there's no Twitter card when you share Thimble on Twitter. Then he's like, oh, look, if we add this metadata, then suddenly when you share it, it might look like this. And then he even looked at localization. Anyways, it was a pretty cool, oh, so many hoorays. Yay. So this is the kind of stuff that's on Network Pulse, and we'll have a list specifically for projects that have gone through this training. If you follow the, if you follow this form, so you'll fill out this stuff, the title URL. Then under tags, leave these tags as is, and we'll show everything under this tag at MozFest under the Pulse. So we'll be seeing all of the cool things that people are making at MozFest and working on at MozFest, which is fun. I'll leave this page. Awesome. So that's everything I wanted to talk to you all about. I'm going to go back to the Etherpad. See, so I went through, yes, all of those things. Any questions or comments on how to finish all these assignments? Again, I muted you all. Oh.
Hi.
Cool. So how are people, yeah, let's go up. How do people feel about this? Is this useful for you?
Definitely.
Yeah, looks good.
Oh, great. I'm glad. Yeah, and if you have any questions, there's the chat room. I'll be in there, so as you're going through any of these assignments, if there's anything you want to know or anything you want to clarify. Yeah. So that's all I have for you. I guess you can end the recording now at least. And yeah, if you have any last questions, let me know. Oh, that was all clear and seems useful. Yay, thanks, Jerwin. Cool.
If we have questions later on, how can we contact you, and how is the best way to do that?
Yep. So there's the chat room here, which is a good way to contact a few people who have gone through this training before. Yeah. So Min has gone through it before, and I've gone through it before, and I think other people will be joining us. Or you can email me directly. So I'm abby@mozillafoundation.org. I'll just put that here. Also, if you comment on your, yeah, here's my awesome issue. So I'm tagged in all of these issues because of the way I made the template. So if you have any questions, even just putting it in your issue as a comment, I'll see it. Oh, so yeah, this is great. Thanks, Janet. So even if you have a question, just put it here because I'm tagged, so I'll get an email. Cool. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'll give you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing all your projects on Network Pulse. And yeah, I'll give you back 17 minutes of your day.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.